You thought you were getting another episode of Malevelon Creek this week, but it was us! Decode! Plus, episode 3 for the month of April 2025. Hello, everyone. Welcome to Decode Plus.
April Fools.
Week late, and I got you! Oh, man, we got him good. All right, let's go home. Welcome to Decode Plus. I am your hostess, Taylor May, joined as always by Kenneth Cardez. Holy crap, Nintendo Direct.
I'm so excited for the Wii U 3.
I will also apologize to the live Twitch chat. I'm still kind of getting over a cold, so I'm going to do my best not to cough directly into the mic if I can help it. But we got a healthy amount of water next to me. We're going to get into the Nintendo Direct stuff here in just a moment. I have something to complain about first. So, I don't know how well known it is that I am a fan of Rocket League. I have dabbled over the years, just kind of on and off. I've been to an RLCS event. It was a hell of a lot of fun. But they've done something. Their latest collaboration, well, they have two going on right now. The first is they have the collaboration with Lamborghini, where you have the Lamborghini Contact body now available. Actually, they're selling the full bundle. So it's the Lamborghini Contact that you get the body that you can play as in Rocket League. You get 2 animated decals as part of their Mortal Kombat collaboration right now. One of them based on Sub-Zero, the other one based on Scorpion. I've seen them both. They're both sick looking. You get the throwback circa 1970s pearlescent Contact paint job and the circa 1970s Contact wheels. That whole bundle in Rocket League is going to run you about $30. And that's fine. Like, for something that's crossing over with Lamborghini and with Mortal Kombat, like those licenses, if you're paying $30, and honestly, you're getting a really good quality product for it as well. Because, like, again, those animated decals for those cars are sick. Here's where I start having a problem. Is because as part of that Mortal Kombat collaboration, there is a new goal explosion that is available. For those who don't know Rocket League, when you score, like, the ball explodes in the goal, and there's a bunch of, like, different types and styles of explosions you can get. Well, they have one available that's it's like the Scorpion Get Over Here goal explosion, where the ball goes in, it looks like it bounces out, and then Scorpion's chain comes out of like an orange cloud in the goal, stabs it, drags it back in. The goal explosion alone is gonna set you back about $20 for a goal explosion. For one single item is gonna set you back about $20.
That's robbery.
Why?
Because they like money.
Like, I don't... And I like money, too. That's why I'm not paying for it. But the other... Go ahead.
I was going to say, like, it's always funny how these companies, when they have, like, their online games, usually tend to be free-to-play, and then they charge so much just so that you can have the vanity item.
I remember when Rocket League was $20 on Steam, and you got your items through, like, the Counter-Strike, like, crate system, is how they did it.
Right.
Like, our Pepperidge Farm remembers. But, yeah, like, it's... Like, and yeah, it's free to play, which makes the game more accessible to people. Okay, awesome. Rocket League, for what it's worth, is a really fun game. The fact that it's free to play, more people can play it. I think that's great. The price gouging on these cosmetics, especially in these collaborative cosmetics. I get they have to pay for the licenses somehow, but $20 for a single goal explosion is ridiculous. But the other issue that I'm having right now is there is another bundle currently available in Rocket League. Is the Ram 1500 RHD RHO? It's kind of hard to tell with their font. Bundle. This one is also going to set.
Trucks.
Yeah, this one's also going to set you back about $30 for the full bundle. With that bundle, you get the Ram 1500 body, which is mid. You get 3 different decals that you can put on your Ram 1500, and only the Ram 1500. You can't use them on any other cars. And the Ram 1500 RHO wheels. I am... Rocket League, I am begging you, if you are going to do a crossover, or if you're going to do some kind of collaboration with trucks again in the future, give me the Toyota Hilux in Rocket League. I am begging you. There are so many people that would be chomping at the bit for that. You want to make money off of a collaborative cosmetic or car body with a car manufacturer? Toyota Hilux. You can have that one for free. You're welcome. Ugh. There's a reason I don't play Rocket League anymore.
I know the pain. As someone who used to play Fortnite and still currently plays Fall Guys, it seems the common denominator is Epic.
Something Epic Games. That's just it's just the way it goes. That's always the way it goes. I'm done. I'm done rambling about it. Let's talk about the Nintendo Directs.
Yeah, so we had 2 directs. We had Nintendo do a direct a little over 2 weeks ago, which focused on new games coming out for the Nintendo Switch throughout pretty much the rest of the year. And then there was a second direct where Nintendo finally showed off the Nintendo Switch 2 and also some games that would be coming out on the Nintendo Switch 2, or as I like to call it, the Nintendos. Funny enough, I remember when we would always say, like, oh, why don't they just call it the Super Nintendo Switch? It actually was revealed that was the original name before they decided to just call it Switch 2.
They should have stuck with the original, if you ask me. Super Nintendo Switch sounds so much cooler.
I think it would have been great. So let's get the games out of the way first,
yes.
Which were the third party one. So I think I don't know. I don't really remember much of it. I remember seeing that a lot of. I think the big thing was that they finally showed off Metroid Prime 4.
Yes, they did, and it looks beautiful.
It is a very pretty looking game. No release date for Metroid Prime 4, but it's nice to know that it exists. We're going to talk about it more on the Switch 2 because there is a Switch 2 version of it, which means it might drop this year. And it's going to be on both. So we have that. A lot of like third party and other games coming out for the Switch. There was the announcement that Dragon Quest 1 and 2 are going to have HD 2D remakes, which is super exciting. It's got the same visual style as the recent Dragon Quest 3 update. For anyone who is a fan of the classic RPG series, that's something that's amazing to look forward to. I'm excited for it. I just don't know if I'm going to waste it on my Switch. That's something that I like to stay at home and grind on, even though it feels like it's kind of like the perfect train ride game. Don't really game that much on my commute as much as I used to.
The Dragon Quest remakes, they look so good. They look so pretty, and I love that art style too. I might need to look into getting those.
Yeah, they're just good games. Like I remember growing up and playing like the originals on NES and Super Nintendo, and they even ported them to handhelds. They were just a lot of fun.
They showed off a little bit more of Shadow Labyrinth, which we actually got a sneak peek of, I think, at the Game Awards back in December, which is, it's basically looks like Pac-Man meets Castlevania, and I'm here for it. Like, it looks so interesting. I'm really curious to see where this story of this game is going to go. The overall art style and just look of the game just looks fantastic.
Yeah, I mean, it's really interesting. The game's coming out July 18th. We had a bit of a teaser into the story because Shadow Labyrinth was one of the games that was featured during the Amazon Prime show Secret Level. It's the one that everyone was like, is this like Dark Pac-Man? And we're just like, yes, yeah, this is Dark Pac-Man.
Literally, yes. Another one they showed off that I put on my list that really drew my eye was Story of Seasons Grand Bazaar, because I love like Stardew Valley style games, and this looks like it's very much in line with that. Just that comfy, just farming market. What's the word I'm looking, like, market management type game. Also explore the village, get friendly with the locals. I love comfy games like that. And it's been
games.
It's been a hot minute since I played Stardew Valley. I need to try to find time to play it more. But like Story of Seasons Grand Bazaar looks like it's just going to be an absolutely wonderful time. I want to see more of it, and I honestly might look into picking it up.
I think another one that really interested in was finally seeing the gameplay of The Eternal Life of Goldman. This is kind of like a platformer side-scroller game where you play as like this old dude who still goes on adventures, and I think that's really cool. So.
Even cooler to me was something that they mentioned, and it was kind of mentioned as an offhanded comment, but I'm like, are you kidding me? Is that the art and the animation for this game is apparently hand-drawn. I'm like, what? Like, who does that anymore these days? And it looks fantastic.
Yes. I'm really excited for that game. I love like the old school style of platformers, and then for me the big thing is whenever a company takes like an old concept and then does it with like the current technology, or they just go, we're gonna hand draw it, but then put it into the current tech that's available, and it's very refreshing to see the old school style of games in terms of the look and the feel and the gameplay and how they get brought up to date in today's technology because of what we have available for these type of games. It's always amazing to me to see stuff like that.
For sure.
I'm like, more like this, please. More like this game industry, please.
Oh my god, yes. Let's see. Pokemon Legends ZA. This was actually my first proper look at Pokemon Legends ZA, was watching this direct. It looks like a lot of fun. They're experimenting with some new concepts for the overall world design and the way that the world works, with the way that things kind of change throughout the day and night cycles. Like, you basically have like this like Pokemon Fight Club happening at night, and also having the wild zones where you can catch Pokemon in the middle of the city. The battle zones for at night for challenging other trainers. The fact that this is taking place in the same like same city as Pokemon X and Y, it means it's going to be familiar to players of that generation. So I'm still kind of, I have a lot of Pokemon games that I need to catch up on because I missed out on the whole Pokemon craze as a kid. I never played any of the original games. I never had a Game Boy. My first Pokemon game I ever played was Shining Pearl, was the remake. And that was only maybe like a couple of years ago. And I was actually almost in tears of happiness when I defeated Cynthia. One, because, oh my god, Cynthia's a bitch in combat, but two, just kind of that feeling of like, oh my god, is this what it actually feels like to beat the story of a Pokemon game? Like, oh my god, this feels amazing. So, like, there's plenty of other games I need to go back and try to play. Sword and Shield, I've heard, is really good. I need to go back and play that. Scarlet and Violet, my wife, we own, I think, Pokemon Scarlet, so that's something that we could play. But Pokemon Legends ZA looks fantastic, and it looks like a lot of fun, and I really, really want to pick that one up and play that one.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, it's Pokemon, so like it has the fans. Everyone's gonna jump on it. It's one of the series that I definitely recognize is not for me. Even though I did play it when I was younger, you know, obviously I had the original Game Boy ones. The last one that I remember going hard on handheld wise was Pokemon Crystal. I played Coliseum. Then I didn't touch a Pokemon game until Let's Go Pikachu, and that was mostly because my son played it. He requested that I get it so we could try to collect Pokemon together.
Nice.
Then I would trade with him.
That's awesome.
That was about it. That's as far as I have gone into the realm of Pokemon. I still collect the cards just because like that's something from my childhood that I was always into. And I'm very specific with which Pokemon I collect. You know, I'm big on Gengar. I love Snorlax. I love Alakazam, and I like Houndoom. So like any of those four, I'll buy like the single cards for.
You'll be happy to know that Houndoom was actually on my winning team against Cynthia in Shining Pearl.
That's awesome. Let's see. I think one other game that I really liked. There were two surprised to see be ported over, and those were Patapon 1 and 2, and Everybody's Golf Hot Shots. These games were Japan studio games. They were known for being Sony exclusives, and Sony recently was like, "Hey, whoever wants to, you can have them." So Bandai Namco swept in and was like, "We'll take these games," and now they're throwing them everywhere. So Patapon 1 and 2 coming to the Switch alongside Everyone's Golf. And that's a good thing, because those games are amazing, and you should play those.
The other one that caught my eye as far as what all is included with its release on the Switch, and presumably the Switch 2, or the Switch 2 edition, as we'll get into later, Monument Valley 1 and 2, which is going to include all of the DLC and additional content that have come out for those games here on the Switch. Yep. And they also announced Monument Valley 3.
Yeah, there's also a reveal for a Marvel side-scroller beat-em-up. We got Marvel Cosmic Invasion, which is made by the same devs that did, I believe, the Streets of Rage games. I don't know. Can't remember if it was the Streets of Rage, or it probably was. Or they've done a lot of like the side-scroller ports of old school games.
I don't remember.
But Marvel Cosmic Invasion looks fun. It reminds me of the old arcade style games.
Yeah, it really did. Like watching the gameplay.
I'm just super excited to play as that entire game. Like,
just like watching
Streets of Rage and Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtle Shredder's Revenge. That's what it was. Thank you.
Oh, okay. Because like watching the gameplay during the Direct, I was like, I would absolutely imagine myself playing this on an arcade machine, like at free play or something like that. Like it just looks like it just looks like a good time. It just looks like it's going to be a lot of fun.
Yeah, I mean, I think that about covers like the main games that we're excited. Like I'm an old school head, so like I'll just throw out Gradius Origins. Like it's cool. Like I remember growing up on Gradius and R-Type. Those games are cool. Whenever I see them come back, I'm like, "Is this dust?"
Oh, no.
I am old.
Oh, no, hold on. There was one more. There was one more at the very end of that Direct that caught my attention. And I have one friend in particular who I know is going to be very excited about that. And that is the return of Tomodachi Life. Living the Dream is coming to the Nintendo Switch. So many people are... I've saw just like so many just excited, happy reactions over Tomodachi Life. It's like out of all of the games in that Direct, That's the one they're most excited about. And you know what? More power to them. I'm happy for them.
Yeah, I mean, there was definitely a lot that I was just like, that's cool. Didn't really catch my eye, but I respect that there are people out there who are excited for those games, whichever ones float your boat. Um, I'm definitely someone who needs a little more. That's just because I have really, really big tastes, I guess. I don't know. Everyone's taste is different.
That is very fair. Obviously, there were more games that were announced that we're not going to cover here because we do kind of have a bit of a limited time to talk about this stuff, technically.
Yeah. We hit the important notions.
Oh, yeah. We hit all the ones that we wanted to talk about, and it's our show, so those are the important ones. Moving on. Nintendo Switch 2.
The Nintendo's.
The Nintendo's. So that Direct opened up with a full 4 or 5 minute showcase of Mario Kart World. My wife actually just when they watched the Direct, because they watched it the day it came out. They described it to me as basically Mario Kart meets Forza. And actually seeing the gameplay on the Direct myself earlier today, I'm like, yeah, no, I get it. I get where they're coming from, and it looks absolutely beautiful.
Yeah, Super Forza Kart. I mean, it's a new Mario Kart. That's enough of a reason to get excited. For anyone who's been playing the games as long as we have, or who's just a fan of really cute racing games. I'm excited for it. I love the Mario Kart games. I'm also a big fan of the Sonic racing games. I like the fact that I potentially have a system that's going to have both games available for it, because we have Sonic Crossing Worlds coming out, and then we have Mario Kart World. I got a chance to try out the Mario Kart World at the Nintendo event that they held on Friday.
Brag about it, why don't you?
I'll brag a little. And it was really fun to play. I do like the new stuff they've added. There's a lot of verticality to the game. You're doing wall jumps with your car. You're doing grinds on rails with the car. You can turn into a plane. It's amazing what they've thrown into this game, and how, depending on what cup you pick, the tracks go into this open world that they've added to the game. I think one of the highlights was there's a new Donkey Kong stage where the track is literally, if you remember the old school Donkey Kong game where you would climb up, the girders and the ladders, the track is literally that, complete with a giant mechanical Donkey Kong on the third lap throwing barrels at you.
That's amazing.
It is killer. I'm like, that was one thing that sold me on the Switch 2 itself.
The open world aspect of Mario Kart, obviously something we've never seen in a Mario Kart game before, so that's going to be very exciting to explore. The weather and day-night cycles being able to affect races, again, something we've never seen in a Mario Kart game before. 24 drivers per race now, maximum. Yep. I'm just like, I saw that number, and I couldn't help but think to myself, it's like, could you imagine 24 drivers, 200cc on Baby Park? And then I thought about it, I was like, oh wait, that's just a typical race at Martinsville.
Yeah, so of note, there are some cool modes that will be available in Mario Kart. Two of the ones that they were really highlighting during the demo showcase, one was called Knockout Tour, and then there's also the free roam. The Knockout Tour is basically your standard battle royale type game where you have to be the last driver racing as you travel across the world and all the different tracks and stuff like that. And then the free roam lets you literally, it's pretty self-explanatory. You get to drive anywhere. You get to try the tracks without the pressure of, other racers. And then the cool thing with free roam is you can also have, if you're online with friends, you and your friends can explore the world, without worrying about racing or whatnot.
Mm-hmm.
So I think that's really cool.
And there will be more info on Mario Kart coming in another Nintendo Direct on April 17th, which I believe is a dedicated Mario Kart Direct. So they'll be dumping a lot of info on us about Mario Kart World here in a couple weeks.
What was another game that there was quite a few games that showed up. Donkey Kong Bonanza.
Donkey Kong Bonanza looks like a lot of fun. The one that caught my eye, remember, never had a Nintendo console as a kid, missed out on a lot of the old school Nintendo games. My first Legend of Zelda game that I played was Breath of the Wild. Hyrule Warriors Age of Imprisonment. Oh my god. Give it to me now.
Definitely another one I'm excited for. I loved Age of Calamity. I just didn't like the story too much because it went with that whole like weird time travel stuff. I'm glad that they're ignoring that. They're just like, yeah, that didn't happen. We're just gonna go and tell you this canon story.
See, those are the only two games for the Switch 2 that really popped out at me that I wanted to cover. I don't know if you had anything else. All the rest of the stuff I wanted to talk about was about the console itself.
Right.
Because there's some really, really cool stuff in here.
Yeah, there is. I think we can just knock out the games real quick and definitely talk about the console. Like,
sure, go for it. Go for it.
While I'm not personally get it, I did like the Dragon Drive game that they showed. It's a 3v3 game that definitely highlights the Switch 2's new mouse control functionality. It's a game that has basically you're playing wheelchair basketball. I was impressed with how they're using that to show off the Switch's motion controls. And two, we rarely get games like that have that type of representation in games.
Oh, for sure.
So kudos for Nintendo for that. What was another one? Oh, Kirby Air Riders. How we
yeah.
That? Oh my god. Kirby Air Riders was shown, so we know that we know what Sakurai was working on.
Oh yeah.
Well, he was done with Smash Brothers. New Deltarune confirmed. Obviously a lot of ports are coming through to the game as well. If you see a game that was a third party, it's coming to the Switch 2, which is also really good because anyone who has largely avoided any of the other consoles, you now have technically a much more affordable console, somewhat. I mean, it's cheaper than a PS5, so that's a good thing. But yeah, like, games are cool. Let's go back to talking about the console and what we liked about it.
Yes. So the first thing they covered in the Switch 2 Direct was the game chat, which is essentially Nintendo's own in-house Discord function, where you and up to 3 of your friends can join in a voice or video call, which we'll get into that here in a little bit, just through the Nintendo Switch. It has its own built-in system now. We finally found out what the C button on the controller is for, so bring up the chat controls when you're in that mode. You can share voice chat, you can share video, like screen share. So if all of y'all are playing the same game, you can see everyone's screens, or if you're all playing different games, you can still share your screens, be hanging out in the chat. You don't all have to be playing the same game all at once to do that. The thing that really stood out to me is the microphone technology, that the microphone on your console can pick up your voice from a distance. So Switch 2 can be docked on the TV. You're sitting back on the couch, maybe about 10 feet or so away. It's still going to pick up your voice just fine. And it has noise canceling technology to remove any background noise happening around you, so it only hears and broadcasts your voice. That's always really cool to me, that kind of technology exists, and I love it. Then the Nintendo Switch 2 camera was also announced. I'm gonna assume sold separately as their own. Basically, it's just a Nintendo webcam that you can hook into.
I can't believe Nintendo created the iToy.
You can plug it in.
No one.
You can plug it in to one of two USB-C ports on the Switch 2 because it's going to have two now, one on the bottom and one on the top, which is I that was honestly one thing I always lamented about my Switch is that it only had it on the bottom, and it's like, well, I really wish it was on the top. So if I'm laying down like in bed and I'm playing it, I don't have like the cable like awkwardly just kind of like sitting on my chest or anything. So the fact that it's on the top as well as the bottom is honestly, it's a very simple, but it's a very smart design move there. So I'm totally on board with that. Same thickness as the Switch, but significantly bigger. Capable
it's the size of the Wii U.
Is it? Like, is it the same screen dimensions?
It's literally the same size as the Wii U.
Oh, damn. Yeah. Capable of
the regular Switch.
Capable of 1080p up to 120 frames per second. HDR for compatible games. Improved audio, 3D audio for compatible games with headphones, so more immersive gameplay. The two USB-C ports here, I'll talk about that. 256 gigabytes of internal storage. Massive upgrade from the Switch. New dock with 4K support for
That's the part that
televisions.
4K support and 60 frames per second, depending on the game.
Mm-hmm. So. For compatible games. Able to play compatible Switch games that are interchangeable, which they went into a little bit more about that later on. So one of the things that they showcased, that they specifically used Metroid Prime 4 to showcase, was you could either play the game at 4K 60 FPS if you want it to really look pretty, or you could switch it to 1080p 120 FPS if you want smoother gameplay. So it really it entirely depends on what you want and how you want to play it, which I think is awesome. Where they kind of lost me was, and this also kind of goes back to the first Direct, is like the virtual game cards. I kind of get it, but at the same time, I'm kind of like, like, as in, like, I'm kind of confused as to how this works. Like, I think I kind of get the principle, but and then they have, moving forward, they will be releasing 3 different types of a game. So you have the Nintendo Switch, then the Nintendo Switch 2, and the Nintendo Switch 2 edition of a game.
I don't recall seeing 3 different parts. I think it was more about that. There's the Nintendo Switch version, and then there's a Switch 2 edition. In addition to that one.
Well, I think it's like the Nintendo Switch 2 games. I think there are some titles that are being released exclusively for the Switch 2 that are not coming to Switch.
Correct.
And then the Nintendo Switch 2 edition is for games that have already been released on Switch that can now, I guess, be they're being re-released to be compatible with the Switch 2 hardware and software.
Yes. And then the other option is you can have your Switch 1 version, and for a small fee, you can unlock the Switch 2 version of the game on your Nintendo Switch 2.
You can buy an upgrade pack, I think is what they called it.
Yes.
to be able to put it on the Switch too. And again, for compatible titles. Not every Switch game is going to be compatible or brought up to the Switch 2, at least not right away.
That is correct. But mostly every first-party Nintendo Switch title can be played on the Nintendo Switch 2.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, just seeing this whole thing, like both of these directs, which I totally didn't watch last minute and only just finished watching them like an hour and a half ago. That totally didn't happen. Shut up. I don't know what you're talking about. I can't remember the last time I actually sat down and watched a Nintendo Direct, just because I've never really, in general, I've never really been a Nintendo person. Like, yeah, I enjoy Pokemon. I enjoy Legend of Zelda, but I'm not too big on Nintendo as a whole. And that's not trying to knock Nintendo in any way. I think what they do is fantastic. But I don't remember the last time I actually sat down and watched a Nintendo Direct. So sitting down today and watching both of these back to back, I kind of had that light bulb, oh, I get it moment. And just seeing all of these wonderful games being showcased, all of these new games being announced, like sequels to games that I've never played before, but I'm excited for the sequel. I'm like, I want to play that. That looks like it's going to be fun. It was just a really good time watching these directs. And I need to tune in. I need to make sure that I'm tuning in for the one on the 17th for Mario Kart World, because I want to know more. It looks like it's going to be such a fun time.
Yeah, like I'm excited. I think the Switch 2 is a long overdue hardware refresh for Nintendo. It is obviously a much more powerful system. It's everything that a sequel system should be. The price is definitely something that is of contention. You know, I think the $450 for the version that comes with the Mario Kart World digital, and or I don't know, I can't remember the pricing.
I mean,
Prices, what are they?
I mean, like honestly, I think you had about on the money. I think about $450 for the bundle Switch 2 with Mario Kart World. That's fine. Like that's
It's a good price.
like for my Nintendo Switch OLED that I bought, I think was like $350, and it had already been out. Like the Switch had already been out for years at that point.
Yes.
So like $450 for a brand new console, and you get a title release game with it. Oh, and by the way, that title release game is an open world Mario Kart. That's more than reasonable.
For sure. I think the part that a lot of people have scoffed at is how random the pricing on some of these games will be. Mario Kart World, for example, is going to be an $80 game, standalone, $79.99. Then you have something like Donkey Kong Bonanza, which is going to be $69.99. And it's crazy to see the cartridge prices go back to how it was when I was growing up. You know, back in like the Super Nintendo and Nintendo 64 days.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, if you adjust for inflation, the games are technically cheaper now than they were back then. Unfortunately, wages haven't gone up, so they feel more expensive.
Yep.
It's an interesting thing to see how that happened, you know, because if you look at the cartridge cycle to when the industry switched to CDs and then eventually DVDs and Blu-rays, because it was cheaper to put games on CDs and DVDs and Blu-ray, the games became cheaper.
Mm-hmm.
and now we're at a time frame where things just cost more. So everything is more expensive now, or at least it feels more expensive because adjusted for inflation, while the game might be cheaper, the money that's in people's pockets isn't there. That has not changed.
I mean, the other thing to take into consideration too, like especially today, and this is the only thing I'm going to say about it, and then we're moving on. The tariffs aren't helping either.
Oh no, for sure. That is definitely a factor. I mean, these tariffs, we have to talk about them. They are affecting a lot of industries that most people didn't think they would affect. You know, we all know that tariffs will affect food, and all the other things, but a lot of people were like, how is this affecting games? It's like, because all of these things are manufactured overseas and they're built overseas. So a lot of the pricing may be done in preparation for those tariffs, because if you look at it, it's affecting games, it's affecting comics, because I still collect comics, and the tariffs are actually affecting the shipping on those. It's also affecting card games, and that's something that's really interesting as well. Just to give you guys a little bit of what's been going on. Magic the Gathering, for example. Normally, the print factories are in Japan for Wizards of the Coast. Most recent set that they just dropped, which was the Dragons of Tarkir, they've now reverted to printing in America. Because now all their shipping boxes say "Made in America." Before, they were made in Japan. So it's curious to see, how all that stuff is affecting these industries and how the industries have to adapt because of what's going on.
And it really is unfortunate to see things play out this way, to see the various industries affected the way they are, to see the people affected the way they are, because it's affecting people's livelihoods. There's really no ifs, ands, or buts about it. So I guess really all we can do is hope that things straighten themselves out one way or another. Maybe they will, maybe they won't. Who's to say? But it's just the reality of the world that we live in now, and it's just kind of sad, because I was just talking earlier about like Rocket League going free to play and making the game more accessible to people. Well, these tariffs now are making things like Pokemon TCG, comic books, all sorts of things like that less accessible to people because they're getting more expensive as a result. And I hate to see that. There are so many forms of media that people can enjoy. I have the ones that I enjoy, you have the ones that you enjoy. They don't always cross over. But the one thing that I can always... the main philosophy that I have is that if something brings someone joy, make it as accessible to them as possible. It doesn't matter who it is. It doesn't matter what it is. It could be Pokemon TCG. It could be the Pokemon games. It could be comic books. It doesn't matter. If something brings someone joy, make it accessible. And we're going in the opposite direction of that, and that really makes me sad to see.
Yeah, it's unfortunate, because something like gaming has been very instrumental in making people feel not just happy but also safe. Being within their communities, with the different games that come out that have that community aspect to them, and to know that we might be entering a period where we may have less of that, it's a little concerning.
A little bit. Because, I mean, and like you have an excellent point, too. I mean, you think back to like the days of like when lockdown started, how much more connected people became with each other because of gaming, because that was the only way they had to interact with each other.
If you look at our 2020 Game of the Year video, the winners were the exact poignant form of that need for connection, that need to be happy, and just to be, even though you couldn't physically be around people, you still were able to connect with people in those games. You know, Animal Crossing being one of them, how that game was used to bring people together, to connect people from around the world, or even in just in your own city when you could visit other people's islands, to how society even got in on the game, so to speak, to use Animal Crossing as a way to celebrate milestones or even sad events because people couldn't be together, or how even the Biden campaign created an island to help people realize, like, hey, we're out there. And then you have something like Among Us, which saw a resurgence in part due to the popularity of Fall Guys because of how similar the characters looked. And that popularity made both games propel into streaming records, sales records, and the whole nine. And those were the three that we gave games of the year to.
It's amazing how a game where you get to play as a little bean person just makes people happy. Just in general.
It still does. I'm playing ranked right now. They just dropped the ranked mode where you can rank up, and based on your rank, you get like cool suits and stuff like that. It's a lot of fun, and I still play it. I've been playing Fall Guys since the game came out, and I have not stopped.
Mm-hmm. You mentioned earlier the Biden campaign had their own island in Animal Crossing. You remember AOC playing Among Us on Twitch?
Yeah, and she literally used that Twitch stream to educate people on how voting worked. Because believe it or not, there are people who are of our age, maybe a little younger, and they still don't quite understand how voting works in their county or in their district or even in their own state. So, kudos to her for turning it around.
Absolutely. All right, well, I think that covered basically all of our major notes. That didn't take us nearly as long to get through as I thought / hoped it would. If I'm being completely honest, we got through that very efficiently, and I'm not mad by any means. I'm just going back over the list of games from the first direct. Was looking at some of the ones that got announced that are coming to Switch. Yeah, just I saw one actually that caught my eye that I know a friend of mine is going to be really excited for. That was No Sleep for Kaname Date from the Somnium Files. That one looks really interesting.
Right.
Because I've never played any of the Somnium Files games, and I think that I should. Because I'm watching my friend play through them. It just the little bits and pieces that I can catch her on her Twitch streams. They look really interesting, and this one in particular, there's just something about it that's like, okay, you have my attention. I am intrigued now. So, but other than that, Shadow Labyrinth, really excited for that one. Metroid Prime 4 looks absolutely fantastic. Rift of the Necrodancer looks like it's going to be a lot of fun. And then what was the other one? Oh, right. Enter the Gungeon 2, the sequel.
Yes, the sequel.
That looks so good.
I love roguelike games. I'm super picky with the ones that I try to play. I don't know if I'm ready for another Enter the Gungeon. I'm more leaning towards Hades 2 side of things.
Mm-hmm.
But it looks good. It does look good.
I need to get back on my Risk of Rain BS.
That's another fun one. Yeah. That game is really good too.
Risk of I only started playing Risk of Rain 2 because my roommate at the time found it on Steam just completely randomly, took a brief look at it on the Steam page, and was like, "Hey, this looks like it could be a fun game for like all of us to play." Because like me and my roommates at the time, like already really good established friends before we moved in together, and all of us gamers. So just on a whim, we decided, you know what? Let's all get it. Let's download it. Let's play it. Let's play it. $20. We'll play it for an hour. If we don't like it, we'll get a refund. I'm scared to look. How many hours do I have in Risk of Rain 2 at this point now?
Don't feel bad. You should see the amount of hours I have on Destiny and Fall Guys.
I don't want to. 260 hours in Risk of Rain 2. All of which I feel are very well spent.
I can't say if most of those hours on Destiny were well spent. A lot of them may have been aggravated fails at raid wipes, and losing many times in the competitive modes.
Let me ask you this. Let me ask you this at the very least. Is your playtime in Destiny in the 4 digits?
Yes.
Okay, that's all I need to know. That's all I need to know. It's like you, like my wife was a big Destiny player back in the day. I have friends overseas who were real big Destiny players. I'm not even sure what their playtime is at, to be completely honest. I'm sure it's up there as well, because they've been playing for years consistently. I'm scared of how close you're hitting that with Helldivers at this point. Yeah, honestly, Mario, to be fair, a lot of those hours are related to production. Production of what, you may ask? Production of our ongoing mini-series based in Helldivers 2, Malevelon Creek, which you can watch the first 3 episodes of right now on our YouTube channel. Go check it out. You're welcome.
Shameless plugs.
It's not shameless if we're plugging our own stuff on our own channel. It's like there's nothing shameless about that. That's fine.
It's been a blast to work on, though. I'm very excited to see the next episode when it goes up. It's been a fun series. I love that the actual Helldivers community has received it pretty well as well. So
it's been a really fun project to work on, to be a part of something like this. I don't know if I want to do something like this again for a while, because it's
definitely not. No,
no, it's
yeah. So we take a break.
Welcome to film production, everyone. You love the final product, but it's a pain to get there.
But it's so worth it, though.
No, absolutely. Because I have seen little bits and pieces of the next episode. I will sum it up in one word. Cinema. That's all I'm going to say. That's all I'm going to say. Episode 4, Malevelon Creek, drops on our YouTube channel next Monday. So please subscribe to our YouTube channel and keep an eye out for that. I'm out of stuff to talk about. How about you?
Well, no, I think we're good to go. So I will commence the shilling.
The floor is yours.
All right. Thank you guys for listening to our episode of Decode Plus. If you want to keep the conversation going, feel free to join our Discord. Over on our Discord channel, we have various channels, including stuff talking about video games, wrestling, all the nerd things that you'd love. Feel free to add any of us while we're there. We love communicating with you guys. I love talking video games. I love talking wrestling. And you can also check out our special Helldivers thread through, because that's where we plan to meet up and link up and shoot squids and terminids and bots and stuff. While you're at it, check out the Malevelon Creek miniseries over on our YouTube. Those kind of go hand in hand with one another. You can follow us on all our different socials. So we have that there. If you wish to support us even further, we do have multiple ways of doing that. We have our own merch. You can check out our merch channel. We have our D-Code hoodies and we have our Digital Era hoodies. And we also have our merch for our upcoming wrestling-themed visual novel, Kokoro no Pro, which has its demo available over at itch.io page. So you can check out the playable section of our wrestling-themed visual novel created by our own RJ Power, who is also part of that Malevolent Creek series. Check out his creation there. Let us know what you think. And, the final product will be done when it's done. We hope you look forward to that as well. If you also want to support us, we do ask that you check out our sponsor, Image Anime. If you yourself are an anime fan, head on over to imageanime.com and you can use our promo code DESCOUNTSHIP, that's DEESCOUNTSHIP. That'll give you free ground shipping on all in-stock item orders over $100. That code is good for the entire year. Check out imageanime.com. They supported us and we support them. We even did a show to promote them. If you want to look back in our YouTube and go into the time of long, long ago, we had the show Dojanopolis, which many of us who are on this team right now were a part of. Anyway, forgetting anything. I think that's everything. Please remember to like and subscribe and follow us. The whole nine. Just do all the things. Click on all the buttons and let's follow on all the things. Like, it helps us. Anyway, that's going to do it for today's show. But as always, until next time, you've been decoded.
I'm still mad about the Rocket League stuff. Like, there's so many better trucks they could have gone with than a Ram 1500.
I mean, it could be worse. It could have had the Cybertruck.
Okay, first of all...
Please remember to like, share, and subscribe, and follow us across social media for updates. Thanks for watching!